to keep the momentum going. And then there's a little bit of time, and you'll appreciate that this is a multi-wool discipline, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll tell you a little bit about the wool. Okay, shearers on the board, timekeepers ready. The green light is there. Shearers, on your marks, get set, go! The fabulous money that's been put up this afternoon by our major sponsor, Ag ITO. Ladies and gentlemen, they put so much into it, whether it's dairy farming, forestry, wool harvesting, fishing. They do it all. Aquaculture, agricultural ITO will be right at the forefront of all that sort of business. So this time they're looking after the wool side of it, and why they do it is because it is a valuable resource to the New Zealand economy. This product, ladies and gentlemen, is worth almost $1 billion a year to our New Zealand economy. And we work that down and break it down to a daily income. That's about $2 million a day that this beautiful, naturally grown fibre is worth to the New Zealand economy. So when you think that you're in a dead-end job, have another think again, because this job is bigger than the horses, the racehorse industry. It's a lot bigger than that. So that's what we're handling here this afternoon. And the idea is get that fleece on the table, nice and flat, beautifully, without anything hanging over, and then we work away from there. But at this stage, Tuma Mullins, this Joel Henare is out on his own, isn't he?
Joel Henare certainly is. He's in a league of his own. He's just feeling it. He's at one with the wool. And he is just amping. He's amped. He's full of that confidence. The confidence is oozing out of this young man. Here he goes. He turns and throws. Beautiful throw down there, table 4. Lovely throw down here on table number 2, Joanne Kumaro. Huya turns and unloads. Boomfa. Wow, look at these throws. And we got Kieran Herbert down here on table number 1. Wow, Koro, check out these throws. They are unbelievable.
Check them out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we looked at this Joel Henare. He put that fleece on the table and you'd almost think he was Phantom of the Opera. He just laid it out nicely. We wouldn't think we were in a wool shed. He made it look really nice. John McBride, have you got a microphone there?
Well, I actually thought that table number 2 had the best throw out of that lot, looking from upstairs. So, you know, you're a bit close to the wool table here. You can't see the overall thing. I think put your glasses on, Koro. But no, hey, good. It's all good. They're all good. They wouldn't be up here if they weren't all good. When they went into that semi-finals earlier on, there was no holes in the field. It was down to the wire. These guys had to perform. There was no easy path. And look, we've got the top 4 contestants here today. And here we have Kieran Herbert, very, very athletic in her approach to the game. She's around now. She knows that a shearer's shearing away from her, so she can get back to the table and clear that fleece off before she needs to get back up there and get that eye clip, which is going to come off right about now. And look at her go, right up there, Tuma. She's on the button.
It certainly is on the button. Clean the table. We don't want to contaminate the wool. These wool handlers have got 12 baskets, and in every basket comes a different line of wool. Second sheep about to drop. These wool handlers all grab the fleeces, squeeze them tight, unload. Well, Kuro, I think table 3 might have it then. But Joel Henard is about to throw, and so is Kieran Herbert. Let's see how they go. Lovely throw down here on table number 1. We've got a little bit of an overhang. How's Joel down there, Koro?
Oh, the throw will have to stay with the table 3. Joel Henare was very nice there. A lovely throw, but that girl from Atiho Nui, a Paparangi, the Wanganui girl, she's the one that put it down there nicely. Kieran Herbert from Te Awamutu, the Tainui girl. There she goes. She rolls up that fleece onto the side. All these people now make it look really good. They've got to run back to the shearer. When the shearer steps up the neck, it takes the top knot off. They've got to take that wool and put it nicely. If the top knot wool falls on the floor, that's when they can get penalised. But they've done the belly, ladies and gentlemen. The belly wool is on the top of the belly is a real scorchy bit. It's very discoloured. That's a frib wool. That's got to be separated from the nice belly wool, and that's only worth about 25 cents. The rest of the wool, the belly wool, is worth about $1.50. So they adding value to the New Zealand wool clip, back to the wool grower, and that's why we pay these girls the big money. We're getting ready, but at this stage, Huia White Puna, John McBride is streets ahead.
Well, I think, yes, she's certainly they're all experienced competitors, and but it just depends how the dice rolls for you on the day. Can the fleece sit for you? Huya had a good throw, you see, and that she made save time. Didn't make time. She saved time by having a good fleece and looking across the lot. Oh, crikey, that's pretty even there. Maybe table number 2 and 3 neck and neck at the stage. But as they go around now, the shearer takes the belly off. They're going to work away down the side of the fleece. And then before the shearer gets around the full side of the crutch and goes down the off leg there, they're going to be back up to the board and assist the shearer with removing the wool. There they move up now. Belly wool separated into 2 lines. Crutch wool of different length coming away on stand number 2. Awesome stuff. Working with the shearer. We're in partners here all the way through the game.
Just watching these wool handlers on the undermine, they can lose a lot of points on that undermine, ladies and gentlemen. We've got short wool, we've got sock wool, we've got a little bit of stain in there, and all of these 3 kinds of oddments need to go into different baskets. So these wool handlers need to be working right there with their shearer. We got Kieran Herbert, she's got the mouth open, the tongue hanging out. She's starting to squirm a little bit. Oh, is the pressure getting a little bit too much for her? Joanne Kumaro, table number 2, back to the shearer, she goes, then back to the fleece, roll up time on table number 2. These wool handlers are under some pressure because these shearers won't stop. That's the way shearers keep the pressure up. We want to see these wool handlers sweat, Koro.
You got the pressure on them, all right, Tuma, but I think this Karen Herbert is now starting to show a class. She is a current world champion, ladies and gentlemen, and she's right on her game. Oh, Joe Kumaroa Huya, there he is. Joel Henare's got the nicest throw, but Johnny, how's the throws that time?
Oh, I might have to give it to you down the far end there. It's neck and neck, not a heck of a lot in it. Of course, they're looking for an A4 size of paper. Anything that hangs over the size of an A4 paper, that's a point. So, you multiply that by what you see hanging over the side, and you'll know how many points are lost. So that's how they work it. And I still think, you might have had it down the far end. A bit of a dingy fleece, I think Joel might have to deal with down there. He's got to try and make that as bright as possible or put the whole fleece aside. Is that right, Tuma?
It certainly is. There's different colours wool. You can get green, you can get blue wool, purple wool, and that's all from the dermatitis. When there's too much rain like what's happening outside and it sits in the backs of the sheep, it makes the wool go rotten, a bit of wool rot. So a little bit of that might come through. I know there's been a bit of vegetable matter come through and there's been a bit of water stain. So these wool handlers, they need to keep an eye on the fleece, make sure if there is any of that to pull it out. We got Joanne Kumaro, she's got a little wee pile of wool on its own over there, a bit of fleece wool, and that's probably a little bit yellow. So that comes out, that's got to be separated as well because it goes through a different process at the wool store. Kieran Herbert down here on table 1, fleece is off and she's back to her shearer, Koro.
Back to the shearer, that's all neck and neck now. We're starting to get a little bit untidy. There's a little bit of wool hanging around and you watch, and somebody said it's a little bit like a method to the madness, but I tell you, they are in total control. Kieran Herbert's got the throw, that's the nicest one there. Joel Henner, he's smooth as, if you watch out, we might all get a cold. He's so cool, John McBride.
He stole the throw. Kieran had it 1 point off. Joel went and just ruined all that. He put out an exceptional throw there. The little devil, he's right among. He's given these women a run for their money, by crikey. Hey, they've got 2 sheep, 2 fleeces left up on the board, or still one in the pen and one on the board, and then they changed the sheep. So they've only got 6 of these full wools to shear, and then the whole thing's changed. They'll reset the mind frame, and then away we go again. But here we go. They're right back up there for the eye clips. Shearer's got all the belly wool off. They're going down the offside now, away from the wool handler. So back to the table come the ladies and men. Working away, Joel, a little bit lumpy. He's still going to... He's going to skirt that fleece. I thought he might have actually just put the whole jolly thing aside. Maybe the colour looks a bit different from where he's seeing it. Over the shoulder come the shearers now, pretty much all together. The wool handlers slightly in front is Kieran Herbert, this end Tuma. And Joe, no, could be who he is right behind. Joe, then Joel.
Last fleece coming off of these full wool. Once the shearer pulls the cord there, 15 seconds. Kuro, have you got the countdown going on? Kieran Herbert turns and throws a little bit of wool hanging off the side. Probably about 3 A4 sheets of paper. Hui down there on table 3, a good throw. And Joel Hennard has got a good throw as well. I think we're about the last 5 seconds, Koro.
5.
Wool handlers cleaning away under their table. They need to get all the
3.
locks and oddments out of the road because we do not want to cross-contaminate the
1.
long wool with the short wool.
Out
This
you
wool
come,
on the
shearers.
table, ladies and gentlemen, is 12 months growth. What's coming out now is about 5 months growth, 5 or 6. So we don't want to cross-contaminate the wool links, Johnny McBride.
Oh, you did right there. They're very, very popular class of wool. It's a second shear wool, especially up in the Naki where I come from. And it's a different type of situation. You've got to try and get as much in that main line as possible. But, of course, if it's a shorter length, not so bad if the bits and pieces get mixed up, but especially the fleece wool. You don't want that longer type of fleece wool in with that shorter stuff, which is probably about a 75 to 90 mils in that range. And here the shearers are taking it off. It'll look very bright when the wool handler's finished with it. She'll blend it, and he will blend it. Just depends who's got the best Kenwood, I would say. Now they're still going back to the main table here. Jo Kumaro has half prepared her fleece. Likewise, Karen Herbert. There you go. See who you're back there. As the shearer comes over the top, she goes back for an eye clip. She should have perhaps got that before it come off as it come off the sheet. As the shearers go down the last side this time, Cora, they need to get all that fleece clean and then get back up and clear that table and do a bit of housework underneath the table to save themselves some time.
Yes, these wool handlers, they're back to their fleeces. We've got Kieran Herbert down here, the young gun. They're back to her fleece on the table. She's got the tongue hanging out, the knee up to bring the fleece up to her so she doesn't have to bend over. Here we go. I think her fleece is fully skirted. She'll look at rolling it up. Once the roll-up's done, they'll need to sweep all the locks from under the table. No, back to the shearer she runs. The belly comes off from the shearer, so back to these shearers. The wool handlers have to run because the shearer will not wait for the wool handler, Kuro. The wool handler's got to pull their finger out.
This is the class of these open wool handlers. These are the $40 people, ladies and gentlemen, and they're charged with doing this. We want to cut the shed out. It's getting late. The shearers can't afford to stop, so they put the pressure on them. They got the second shear coming in with the full wool, and these top wool handlers rise to the occasion. They say, bring it on, ding dong. So that's what's going at the moment. They're handling it. We've got judges from all around the world. Steffi Brooker-Jones, Mr. Harkness there from Ireland. They're all here this afternoon. 2 more sheep in the pens, but it's the one that's organised at the moment and would have to be Karen Herbert in my eyes. Tuma Mullins or John McBride, just looking from here, Karen's onto her game.
Yeah.
The fleece is gone, the table's quite clean, so she's onto it.
I think she's actually quite streets ahead at the moment, and that's going to put the pressure on the rest of them. But, of course, we're not the final judges. They are the guys and gals in the blue shirts. And then, of course, out in the dungeon where the final judge has been done, there's 7 or 8 people out there, and they're going to destroy these fleeces to get the full final value out of them. Here come the shearers now. Sheep number 7 on the board. Up goes here Karen, right back with a broom. She's tidied up under the table a bit. First one to do so. Huia White start to get hers done now. Joel, what's he doing down there? Can't quite see. Oh, he's back up onto the board. Belly wool being sorted. Karen's got the crutch wool out. Nice and bright fleece. The shearers made a good job of getting that whole belly off. It makes it easier for Karen if they take the whole belly off at once there, Tuma.
It certainly does. When the shearers are on the belly, take a big belly off, shearers, because that's a big fault in the wool, and we need that belly wool off because the sheep have been lying on it when they're asleep. These shearers are onto the long blow. These wool handlers right there. Kieran Herbert is miles ahead in time by the looks of it because her table is not quite clean enough, I don't think, for her standards, but she'll be back to it with some vengeance. Down the last side work these shearers. Wool handlers getting a bit frantic. They know there's 1 more sheep left in the pen, and they'll be starting to think about their clean-up and the shakedown, Kuro.
The shakedown's coming up. Agricultural ITO, ladies and gentlemen, they've put their foot forward and they've trained these people. They've put the funding in place and they've got the people in the right places to do it. There's Tectra. There's all those folks that offer training. Into the floor they go. Huia, white punters on there. Look at Joel Henare, but it is this lady still in my books, John McBride, on table number 1, Karen Herbert.
Oh, yes, he's still got them running for the money at the moment. The others are starting to think, righto, we better get some action here. They're all scratching like chooks under the table, but I think here, table 1, you're right. She's got everything mastered so far. The plan is coming together. It's all falling into place for Karen from up in the Tiamutu. Oh, come on, I can't hear anybody with support out there. You've got to start talking these people up, by crikey. There, the pressure's coming on now. She's moved the table. Oh, just didn't quite lift it high enough and dragged half the wool with her. That's a bit of a shame. Costs another couple of seconds just to track it down. Around the shear as they come round onto the money side of the sheep. There, back down there. Huia's down on her hands and knees. Got to go back to the board pretty smartly. Breathe, people, breathe as they come down the last side tuber. The shearer's about to get out of the way, perhaps.
They certainly are. Here come these shearers. They're nearly finished. And then the wool handlers need to hurry up because the shearers want to get in the van and get down to the local hotel. Here we go. Time starts now. They've got 40 seconds. And then it's 1 point per second. And here's the shakedown. Kieran Herbert down here on table 1. Shakedown for her. Joe Henare is jumping up and down like a jelly bean, as is Joanne Kumidor, who's got the best shakedown. When you do the shakedown, you need to blend all fleeces into each other. No good just doing one fleece, just the top of it. It's got to be the whole thing. There we go. Time for Karen Herbert.
Table 2. 3-4. 4-3. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That's the Open Wool Handling, sponsored by Ag ITO. Oh, very sharp time there, Koro.
We've got an Ag ITO guy handy anywhere? Nobody. Well, ladies and gentlemen, give them a good hand, ladies and gentlemen. The Ag ITO sponsored Open Wool Handling. And I tell you what, John McBride, that was a real test to my Mullins. It was a real test.
It certainly was. I'm just going to go and have a few words with Karen.